Chapter 5. The Plan. As usual, you guys know the drill. I've forgotten all the voices by now, but we'll just deal with it. I'll do what I can. Loose ends. I woke up in my bed in the B&B and for a moment thought the whole werewolf business had been a dream. Then I heard a startled breath, looked up and saw Anya looking at me with wide eyes. "What happened? Where were you?" she asked. "Was Bartek with you?" In a sense, part of him. There was so much to talk about, I didn't know where to start. "Are you alright?" I asked. "I was worried about you." "Yeah," said Anya, scratching her head. "After we were separated in the forest, I got lost and somehow ended up here." "Didn't you see anything?" I hesitated. "Unusual?" "I had to go the long way around to avoid the hunters, but apart from that it was just a forest at night," she said. "A bit scary, but nothing unusual." So Pat was right. The human mind couldn't cope with seeing a Krynos, and when the delirium ended, the subconsciousness patched the holes in her memory of something rational. "But how are you feeling?" asked Anya. "I'm alright. Sorry for disappearing so suddenly," I said. Because what else could I say? I told a version of the truth. "I got lost in the forest." Technically, that part wasn't a lie. Then I stumbled on the activists and I kinda got carried away. Yes, true. How should I handle the Bartek thing? I couldn't tell her that he was dead, that I'd killed him. "I don't really know where Bartek is right now," I said, my voice trembling a bit. Anya looked at me like she sensed something was wrong. I mean, our rage is low right now, like really low. And I think we need our willpower. Okay. "I told you I have no clue where he is," I repeated, my rage suddenly flaring. Anya's lips started trembling and she locked herself in the bathroom, tears in her eyes. "So, are you leaving?" asked Anya. "What about your family history?" I shrugged. Whatever the answer was, it was now Maya the werewolf's problem. Maya the student was dead. "I'll be in touch." Anya hugged me. "You'll figure it out." I sighed, took my bag and left. She locked herself in the bathroom. How did she hug me if she locked herself in the bathroom? Everything according to plan. I dropped my bags in the camp and ran through the plan one more time. They expected me to act like a ragabash, but Lisa had proposed another plan. One more spiritual. Fudge. Is that supposed to say fudge? Probably. Those born under the crescent moon are mystics and seers dealing with spirits. Interpreting visions and omens. No, ragabash is fine with me. The Beatles. "Let's go through the plan again, shall we?" Cornel looked at me with those grey eyes of his. The plan was simple. Trick the woodworkers into entering a strictly protected reserve and cause an incident with international repercussions. It was fun. I had fun making people do things I wanted them to and pulling strings. Sure. "I have a contact in the press," I said, thinking of Erica. "Terrible idea." Kim shook her head. "Just ask Pat to post a video online." I asked Kim what the problem was. The plan seemed solid. "It's personal. Erica was my sister." They sighed. "Then she got jealous that I changed and she didn't. We had a falling out. Now she stalks me and I just don't trust her." Okay, I hadn't seen that coming. But we still needed the coverage regardless of Kim's family history. I found Erica easily enough. "I got an anonymous tip that there'll be a confrontation between loggers and scientists in a reserve," I told her. "I can give you an exclusive." She agreed enthusiastically. After that, I needed to engage a third party. When I told Lisa that I needed to sell some bullshit to the loggers, she almost smiled. I'll give you a package for them. That'll let you get closer and throw some wood around, she said. I added some extra kick to it to make them more reckless. She gave me a plastic bag with 3 bottles of her special moonshine clinking inside. I needed to play it cool, so I called Anya and we went there together. I needed to plant a story about a planned sabotage. There's this old pine tree. I made sure they heard me talking. Lots of pines, actually. We could chain ourselves to them or hammer spikes into them to break the chainsaws. I could see the loggers believed every bit of it. There was only one thing left to do. Pat was like me, always the one for mischief, so she had no problem telling her colleagues that the loggers were going to protect the area where an endangered beetle lived. She even offered to go with them. It took a few days, but finally the plan was set in motion. The scene had been set and the curtain went up. The shit hits the fan. It was a beautiful clusterfuck of my own making. They cut down 2 trees before the scientists arrived and the whole place looked like a battlefield. I was so proud. Eric and I were hiding behind the bushes watching the scene unfold. Pat was nearby waiting for my signal. Erica was watching, her eyes gleaming. I nodded at her and she started recording. One of the men was yelling at the scientists. We're doing you a favor cutting down these woodworm-infested trees. There are no spruce bark beetles here, the scientist shouted and out. Okay, that was not a shout. This is one of the last habitats of Buprestis splendens, the most magnificent of the European woodland beetles. You won't tell us what to do in our forest? The logger pointed his finger at the scientist. I let them argue. I made sure we were recording and I let the row continue. This species is listed on Appendix 2 of the Berne Convention and Annex 2 and 4 of the EU Habitats Directive, shouted the scientist, who was now a striking shade of vermilion. The logger's face reddened. Say that again, he said, slowly taking a step forward. I saw one of the others reaching for an axe. My skin prickled. There was something wrong, something else. I opened my eyes to things humans couldn't see. The stench of alcohol and anger got stronger, and I saw it. A red mist hovered over the moon. Yellow, angry eyes shone in the cloud. It was clinging to the men, but a few wisps still lingered in the bottle on the ground. God damn it. Whatever spirit magic Lisa had used to make the moonshine stronger, it was feasting on the loggers. I looked to Pat for advice, but I saw her muscles bulging as she tried to control her own rage. Well, what do we change into? I mean, looks great on camera. Maybe. You know what? Sure. I doubled down in pain. My arms and legs cracked and twisted. My skull fractured and reset itself in a different shape. Fragments of bones crawling under the skin. My skin was rippling and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When the pain subsided, I was Lupus, a wolf, seeing the world in smells and sounds. The world went grey and scents bloomed around me. I noticed a wolf mother watching me from the shadows. Silence fell over the clearing as I jumped onto one of the fallen trees. They stared at me and I stared back, the forest still with anticipation. It is time, the wolf mother howled. Kill them all. I struck a pose for the camera and the loggers, finally realizing they were being filmed, lost their nerve. Their shoulders slumped, something changed in their eyes, and slowly they backed away, disappearing among the trees. Erica put down the camera. That was perfect, she said. Everything went well then. That evening we sat with Erica and Pat, watched the edited recording one more time and then uploaded it. It was time to bask in a victory. Thousands of comments, tweets, clips from the stream circling the internet, gifs. Lisa poured her special moonshine into small glasses. What's in the moonshine? I asked. The loggers almost fucked us up. I bound anger spirits to the distillation column. She shrugged. It's safe for us, gives it a nice kick, but I didn't know how humans would react. The others seemed okay with it. Hey, I took Lisa aside. The guys at the shop, the ones that harassed Kim. It was your doing, wasn't it? They drank your moonshine. You know perfectly well what it does to humans. She shrugged. Maybe. What is it to you? I knew that you must have a good reason to do that, I said calmly. You can tell me and I won't judge. Listen, kid. It's either them or someone else. She shook her head. And trust me, we don't want it to be someone else. I didn't really know how to answer that. I sat back, let them drink and just enjoyed the evening. It was a good night. A moment of triumph. I couldn't wait for the Sept meeting that morning. Creating bad PR for the loggers was my rite of passage, and I knew that I did great. I couldn't believe that I made it so far. We met soon after the sunrise in the same clearing, where I woke up for the first time as a Gado. Lisa looked at us all and smiled. Our patrons were looking at her expectantly, so she stepped towards the center of the clearing. I am the verge of the Sept, and I'm here to make sure we do things the right way. She turned to me and I held my breath. Hiya, come forth. Are you a cop who seeks recognition as an adult? I am, I answered solemnly. Are you an applicant to a tribe? Lisa asked again. I am, I answered. Who speaks for the cub? Lisa looked at her Septmate. I do. Pat stepped forward. I'm Electric Beetle of the Glasswalkers, Ragabash of the Winter Weasel Pack. I observed the cub on her mission and I'm here to tell the story. Okay. I guess they all have secret werewolf names. It made sense. New life demanded a new name. Would I also have to take a new name? Has the cub passed her challenge? Asked Lisa. I knew how it all happened, but I held my breath nevertheless. She succeeded, was the answer. The challenge was hard and she overcame it. Have you chosen your name? Lisa turned to me. My new secret name. Suddenly I remembered my grandfather talking about his old friends. He never used their real names. They were always Fun though, Ray or Needle. I'd always thought it was a guerrilla thing, some kind of war names. Now I wasn't so sure anymore. How to capture my whole life, my aspirations, my personality, my heritage in one name. I cleared my throat. I mean, we're not taking Pine. That's just a lame name. Enigma is now Mr. Iskra. I like both of them. You know what? Yep, we're taking Iskra. My new name is Iska, a spark. I answered, thinking about how sometimes great fires start with but one cunningly placed match. As for the tribe, choosing the tribe was another matter. Yeah, Glasswalker is fine. After getting to know all of them better, I decided to become a Glasswalker. Pat agreed to mentor me. Only one thing remained to end the ceremony and make me a full-fledged Garo. I had to join a pack. As my fate had been already tied with the Wolf Mother, I chose her as my patron and joined Olga's pack. There was no love lost between me and Olga, but I was a valuable addition to her pack and she was good enough a leader to recognize it. According to ancient rites, Lisa painted the mystical glyph of my tribe on my sternum. It disappeared after a moment. Whenever I closed my eyes, I could feel its warm touch between my breasts. Iskra of the Glasswalkers, Ragabash of the Morning Wolf Path, welcome to our sept, she said solemnly. Howls rose toward the sky. They sang about ancient laws of war, status, and secrecy. I remembered only a few. Combat the worm wherever it dwells and whenever it breeds. Submit to those of higher station. Respect those beneath you. The veil shall not be lifted. I threw my head back and howled with my sept. I was a cub no more. I was ready to tell my own stories, to earn my own place in the pack, to howl my own songs.